Hey everybody, welcome back to Plum Figgy. This is Tammy. Alright, so we're going to continue working on I'm going to call this journal, well, I think I'm just going to call it Strong. But it's the Strong Women Quotes journal. But just for a nickname, it'll just be Strong. So anyway, if you've been watching if you watched my previous video, that's part of this series, but I also made it part of just like these two videos I think can stand on their own. So if you're not interested in watching me then fill in the pages of this, don't worry about it. If you're just here to see how I'm putting the book together or the cover together, that's totally fine. But if you were watching in the last video, you may notice that my spine is different. So here is what we actually made in the last video. This one is 2 inches wide, and kind of the more I was thinking about it, I was like, I think I'm going to need a wider spine. So this one is 2.5 inches wide. It's made the exact same way as the other one. I just used different, papers and bits and pieces of cardboard and stuff. So I'll still use this. It may be used for my other Reader's Digest journal, or I might use it on some other journal that I put together and sell. You don't know. I don't know. So my fabric that I found is this. It's like a faux suede fabric. It's not suede, real suede, but it's a really gorgeous dusty pink color. I absolutely love this fabric. And so there was a wrinkle here that I was trying to get rid of, and so I just sprayed it on the front and back with some water. You can still kind of see the wrinkle, but I think it'll go away. So I thought it went pretty well with my cover. And yeah, I think it'll look really good. So the other thing that we're going to need for what we're doing today is some matte gel medium, or if you have PVA glue, that would work as well, or tacky glue. I've seen people use full-on tacky glue, or if you water yours down just a little bit, that would work too. But those types of glues are pretty much what you're going to want to use. And then I just have a grubby old paintbrush here. So we're going to be painting this glue onto our spine. And then, actually, I don't need these for right now, so I'm going to get rid of those. I'm not even going to cut this down yet because I want to make sure I have plenty of fabric to work with. And it's just from experience. I've done it too many times, and I just know better. So, okay, this was the next page in my magazine. It just had a cough come out of nowhere. So I've just been using this magazine for, like adding my distress stain and gluing and stuff. And this was the next page, so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to save that picture. Might use that somewhere. So, okay, put that off to the side. Now, I'm going to protect my fabric and add my glue. Let's see, I'll put this over here. Add my matte gel medium to my spine. What I'm thinking about right now is if I want to put glue all over it, or if I want to just kind of concentrate it on one of the top or the bottom and kind of work my way down. Well, either way, whatever you do, if you do it like that, or if you put all your glue on first, you're going to have to work kind of fast, and it kind of depends on your glue that you're using. But the goal here is not to get it super gloopy, and I guess I've just decided to add it to the whole thing. So you want a nice solid layer, and you want to make sure and get into all the crevices and nooks and crannies, but you don't want tons of extra glue. So just kind of thinking about that. And just kind of working it around with my paintbrush here. Sorry, I've had allergies like crazy this last week, and I've just been sneezing. I don't know what the deal is. It's been kind of different weather here. We had a blizzard again yesterday. So I think it's just kind of stirring everything up for me, or I don't know. My kitten too, I've noticed he's starting to shed now. Just barely. He's like 6 months old now, Oliver. And I am slightly allergic to cats, and I'm wondering if maybe he is contributing to that for me now too. He needs to start getting brushed more often. He's not really used to having that happen to him yet, so we're gonna start that. Okay, so there's my glue. Put this off to the side, and now I'm just going to lay my fabric down on top and give myself plenty of working space on either side. And I'm just going to work it in with my fingers and make sure I've got all the surfaces first. And if you have a tool or something that you would want to use, you could definitely do that. I know I've used my tweezers. This end part of my tweezers works really well. So I'll do that. But before I get into that too much, I really do need to make sure that the whole thing is stuck down and secure before it all dries. So, ooh, you guys, I am going to love this journal. This is going to turn out really cool. I'm excited. So I'm going around all the edges. I do kind of like to, and depending on your fabric, you may have more definition or less. I know other fabrics that I've done this kind of thing too. It actually kind of, I've used like a charcoal gray fabric or a painted fabric, and doing this to it will kind of take some of the paint away, and you're left with kind of a white line in a way, and just kind of makes it look that much more old and vintage. I did that with a Halloween journal this last year, 2020 Halloween. So whoever ended up with that one, hope you're enjoying it. That was a fun one to make for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna need this. I'll keep this handy. Okay, so now at this point, I'm going to cut away some of my extra material, and depending on what kind of glue you use or how much glue you put down, you may need to kind of work with this for a little while. I'm pretty happy with the definition that I'm getting here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step already. Now I'm going to get my big haberdashery scissors, and because they're easier for me to use for cutting fabric. And I'm just going to, let's see, we're gonna need okay, so I'm going to actually measure this because I don't want to cover up this detail here. So, okay, that is like 1/4 of an inch. So we need like 1/2 inch probably away from the spine. So I'm actually going to, how do I want to do this? I'm going to use my pencil, and that way it won't show through, and I'm going to mark, this is less than 1/4 of an inch, and so probably another 1/4 of an inch beyond that. Okay, so do that same thing over here. I'm using the dotted lines in my ruler here. Okay, and then Actually, I need to go wash this. I'm gonna pause. Sorry, I'm all over the place at the moment. I'm gonna pause. Or wait, no, I still need this. Never, or do I? No, I'm gonna use Fabri-Tac. Okay, I'm gonna go wash this. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so, sorry, this is not very good for helping you. I'm kind of all over the place at the moment, but I'm going to do what I did at the bottom and just remove some of this extra fabric here. And then make my marks, the same marks that I made at the bottom, I'm going to make on the top now. Okay, so we have the first one there, and the second one there, here, sort of, there, and there. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line with this one. I don't necessarily need to draw a line with the other one, but this is where I want to cut my fabric. Ooh, that's a little tight. I might cut just outside of this and I always cut more off, but it's hard to add it back. Okay. The old carpenter measure twice, cut once. So, okay. And I'm going to try and cut as straight as I possibly can because this is going to be seen on the front of the journal. So, boy, I'm not cutting a whole lot extra, am I? Alright, I just want to kind of see. So, let's see if we put that down. So these marks, the first ones that I made, are where I'm going to place my book cover. And then the other one was to help me cut away some fabric. Because this fabric, unfortunately, you can't rip it. It's not easy to do that. So now I'm just trying to flip this over so I can get an idea of where it's going to land. Okay. Well, I think it'll be fine. So that's gonna be pretty. So my biggest thing is normally I would give myself more fabric over here to adhere to this, but we'll go ahead and strengthen it on this side as well in a different way. So it's not, this isn't the only thing holding it all together, so that's good at least, but yeah. Okay. Normally I give myself at least a quarter of an inch longer for the front and back of the book, so can't make any mistakes now. Alright, so now that we have that, what I'm going to do is place my covers and make sure that they're going the right direction. Yep, okay, so that's up. This is my back cover, and then this is my front cover. I think I'm going to clean that up just a little bit more. It's kind of wonky. There we go. Okay, so back to what I was doing. Okay, so those first marks that I made, I'm putting my front cover down there, and really what I should do is add some glue, which is what I'll do. You can either add your glue to the fabric or to your book cover. In this case, I think it'll be a little easier to add it to my book cover. So I'm just going to add some here, and we can always add more if we need it. But just at the very end, normally I would use my finger to smooth that down, but this fabric is fairly thick. I don't think that my glue is going to come through. So, okay, now I'm going to turn this around. Oh, perfect. Okay. Perfect. Oh, it looks good. Okay, and so that's the back cover. So we've now practiced on the back cover, and it was a success. Sorry if I was out of frame. So now we're going to do the same thing on the front cover, and I'm just going to add, actually I'm just going to keep it this direction because I know that this is up. Okay. And I'm going to line up my cover. The other thing I'm really looking at is making sure that the top and bottom are all lined up. And then turn it over and smooth it out. Now, I'm not so good at this part where you get down into the groove. That is something that I'm just not as good at. I don't know why, I just haven't been. You know, I may add some kind of other trim on the top of that too, just to kind of help it stay. Because yeah, normally you would want your fabric to come out this far, so it has more to stick to your cover. So I need to do a little bit more on the inside to make sure that everything is nice and secure. So having said that, let me go into my paper stash, my extra fabric, and see what we can find. No, that's not quite enough. Could maybe use a piece of this. This will work. Okay. I don't want it to be super thick either. I mean, the fabric is going to hold it anyway because it's, you know, fabric. So, got all kinds of other fuzz. Okay. Get rid of some of that there. Now, I don't really want this fabric to go all the way to the top or bottom, because really what we're doing is we're adding this just for some more stability, to keep the covers from going anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and snip it right there. Rip that off. I forget, this one doesn't rip straight. Okay. Alright, so what I like to do at this point then is once I have my whatever it is positioned, I leave it that way and I fold down, you know, the top half of it or something, and add my glue. And then glue that part of it down. Make sure that's secure. And then I'll flip up the bottom part and do the other. That way, it stays in the position you want it to be in. Oops, I think I got more glue down there than I needed. Okay. And just smooth that down. I did. Try and get rid of some of this down here. Okay. I'm going to make sure that this goes down into the seam. I might have a little more fabric on this side than I need, so we could pull some of that off. And I do think my spine is a little thicker than I probably wanted it to be, but in the end, that's okay. The most important thing is when you fold it like this, your front and back meet at pretty much the same place. This is still a little bit wobbly, so and to be honest, that little bit of a difference doesn't matter to me. Okay, so I think this is pretty well secured now. What I was saying about going into the seams, I'm not very good about adding glue, but so what you can do is, let's see, I probably should have done that before I added this in there. You could go in and add your glue in here and then come back this way and push it together like this. Is that how you do it? Yeah. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. Let's see if we can, this fabric might be thin enough that it will still allow me to do that. And if it doesn't, then no harm lost, or no harm, because I wouldn't have done it that way anyway. So, okay, now I'm just going to push this together. I don't know. See, this is where I haven't done this very much. So I may not be the best person to show you how to do this. I know Nick the Booksmith has several tutorials on her YouTube channel. And actually, maybe what I should do is rip this up. I did these out of order. Yeah, that's what I should have done. So let me add some glue in there, in the seam. And probably art glitter glue might be good here too. So I'm going to just push this together until it kind of dries, and then I'm going to hold it together like that for a minute. So hopefully it'll kind of do its thing. And then I'll glue this fabric back down to hopefully kind of hold it in place then. So around my finger. And we'll see what kind of an outcome we get. Okay, so I'm gonna still hold on to this for a minute and kind of let the glue do its thing. I do think I've got glue, yeah, all over. Hey, you know what? That's actually not too shabby. That's actually really nice looking. Okay, well, now that I've got glue literally everywhere, I'm going to clean off my mat here. Well, I'm just about done, so, okay. Clean this off. Not bad. All right. Okay, so let's do the same thing on the other side. So let's rip this up. That is a nice thing about Fabri-Tac. It's pretty forgiving. If you need to change things, or like you saw me, I glued a little bit too much, or just even just now cleaning up my surface, it gets kind of gummy. So it's kind of nice that way, where you can kind of rub it out like an eraser. So, okay, put some glue down in the gap, and holding that together. Got some seepage happening here. The thing is, though, I want to make sure that it looks right on the front, because I don't care how it, yeah, see, that's, I need to make sure that the fabric is in the crevice like this. Okay. This is, I should have had this. Let me put this down. Okay, now I'm going to hold this. Use this little tool again here. Get that down in the crevice. And hold this together for just a minute. Gosh, this is a pretty little spine, isn't it? You know, sometimes you do things and you're like, oh, I don't know how it'll look, but we'll see. And then it'll turn out like that. That's kind of awesome. Okay, so let me go ahead and add some glue back here again. Now that I just messed that up, dang it. Okay, it's still where I want it to be. This is a little bit fidgety, so. Okay. Make sure it's really pushed together, and then get my fabric down. And this is the side that we were just working on. Okay. And that's, of course, the front side. Of course. I don't know why. I always start with the back side, and usually the back side turns out better than the front side. Yeah, it is what it is. Alright, so now at this point, I should probably let this dry a little bit more, but I'm ready to fold these over. And normally I might make a slit where my two where the spine meets the covers. I might cut up into there, because I don't know if you've made your own journals, but you'll notice that there's a weird thing that kind of happens there. But because I don't have very much on either side, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue this time. So just going to add some glue. And I don't want to go nuts with my glue. This'll hold it. I could add a little bit here, but I don't also want it to show in the spine or on the front at all. So I'm just tightly pulling that up and making sure it bends okay. Add a little bit more glue here. Just using my fingernail to kind of get down in there. Just kind of working with it, and then I'll go to the other side. Yep, that looks really nice. Okay, so now this isn't totally dried yet, so I can still add a little bit more glue. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And just kind of train it to go where we want it to go. Just looking again, make sure it looks okay, and I think it does. Boy, it's nice and soft too. I just want to pet it. Okay, so gonna do the exact same thing here. Just gonna add a little bit of glue there. A little bit of glue. Okay, I think I got a little bit more there than I probably needed, but and just again using our finger tool, like Pam at Paper Outpost likes to say, and probably many others. Just gonna work that in with our fingers down into the crevice as we slowly bend our front and back cover up. And I'm just making sure that everything is solidly in place and where I want it to be, and I think it is. So, okay, so at this point, I'm going to let it dry in this position because I really want to train it to stay that way. Oh, I'm so glad that we did that because it added this nice little crease here. And it just adds that extra little bit of something. So, okay, so I did say I might want to add some kind of lace or something here. To be honest, I'm not sure if I want to. I do kind of like the way it looks. But okay, so I'm going to just let it sit like this and marinate for a little bit. Let it dry, and then it'll basically be done. So at this point, I think that's it for this video, I think. If you wanted to do more, you definitely could. You could maybe glue in some kind of design there. Or actually, you know, I have this that I saved from the actual spine. I wonder if we shouldn't cut this out and see how it might look on the... I think I would get rid of this too. It's a little old and craggy, but that's okay. Clean this up just a little bit, make it more straight. Let's just see what this might look like here. Oh, yeah, that's kind of nice, actually. I like that. Yeah, I kind of want to put that on there. So let me get my water. Here we go. That'll help. Okay, so go ahead and glue that down. And that way we've kind of preserved a bit of the original decoration from the original spine as well. So I got way more glue here than I need. It's going to kind of seep out all over the place now. Okay, very carefully. Should get my tweezers here. Okay. Try and get that centered and straight. While I have glue literally all over my fingers. That's cool. I like that it's kind of also not perfect too. So, I mean the actual thing. Really cool. Okay, and you know, you could add something to the other too as well, like maybe a metal piece or something that you might have. Or, you know, if I wanted to, I guess add other parts of this, but I don't think I really do. So I think I'm going to leave it at that and call this one done. So, okay guys, well I hope you learned something from this, and if you have any questions, let me know. And in the next video, I'm going to be sewing in the signatures, or, you know, doing the signatures and getting them all squared in there. And then we'll get to start decorating it. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.